Okay, so today's little project is I lost spark on this engine right here. Could be the condenser, could just be the magneto. Honestly, these things, you know, this is a Harbor Freight engine for $100. I use it to pump oil for my waste oil heater. This is a little flange assembly that I built to adapt this pump right here to this engine. And anyway, so I built this on the lathe. Anyway, and then kind of this is like one of those little Harbor Freight carts that's been heavily modified to hold all the hoses and blah, 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 who cares. So we lost spark on this, so I'm going to go ahead and just swap the motor out. Not a big deal. Kind of a cool little process here. So good old little Lovejoy connection right here, which binds the motor, you know, nice little rubber bushing in there. And then this right here, I kind of machined this out so it'll kind of bolt up here. And then basically we got to be able to kind of bolt this pump to it. So, you know, the way that I kind of did that was go ahead and machine these out. I can put some bolts all the way through that to mount this plate to this pump. And then basically once this is mounted up here, like so, then those offset holes that are right there line up with these offset holes. And then I just use Allen's to bolt the whole thing together. And then you've got a $100 motor on a very expensive pump. So, and then these are very easily replaceable from Harbor Freight. They used to be $100. I'm not exactly sure what the price is on them now, but they used to be about $100. You kind of see I just used unistrut right here to actually bolt the thing to it. I do have little isolators on there, which really doesn't matter at all. And then this bar right here, there is a bolt at the bottom of that pump. And so I just built a little bracket right there to help support this nose of the pump, because obviously it's supported from the engine, you know, quite heavily, but then to kind of support the pump to keep it from tilting or anything like that, I put that little flange in there. Other than that, you know, honestly, it's pretty easy. This thing's been running. Now I do change the oil in it, in the engine and that kind of stuff quite often, but and then I do keep like stable in it and stuff like that, but we use this engine periodically throughout the entire year. So really, it doesn't need stable in it. It doesn't need anything in it. We just kind of run it. Like, you know, I can even show you the oil here. You know, it's not like it's seized up or anything. Well, it's hard to show. But the oil itself, let me pull the other side. So you can see, I mean, that oil isn't bad. Let's get it out here. Still pretty clear. I mean, that's not bad. Like, I haven't changed it in 100-something hours. Like, it's at the point where it probably needs changed right now, but it's still not really all that super bad. Like, I've seen people run these things nearly black for a gasoline engine, which is crazy. But honestly, for a $100 engine, you know, I'm testing out, like, I think this condenser right here is maybe hit and miss, but usually it's either on or off kind of thing. Like, there's not a whole lot going on inside this bad boy. But so I'm thinking that maybe just the ignition trigger to the magneto inside right there is bad. And rather than to go through this thing, I mean, it's $100, man. So forget it. It's got vapor line problems, you know, with the whole emission system and everything that's on there, and, you know, just from age and things like that, because we use this throughout the winter. Although it's really nice and green right here, the winter time is pretty brutal. So, you know, this thing's trying to pump oil, like heavy viscous oil, in the winter, and that pump right there will probably pump in the dead of winter when it's 12, 13 degrees outside. That thing's probably pumping, I don't know, maybe 2.5, 3 gallons a minute. Or in the summertime when the oil's, you know, super hot and super viscous at that point, like almost like water, then you can go ahead and it'll pump 15, 20 gallons a minute, right? So it's crazy. And if it's pumping water, this thing will move nearly 1,000 gallons a minute. This thing is awesome. Anyway, so this is a German pump, actually, and works really good. So it's really funny. So absolutely a German pump, Goldstream pump made in China. Like, go figure. Anyway, okay, so again, awesome. There it is, today's little project. I don't know if this video will actually make it to YouTube or not, but I haven't really posted anything in months, so maybe, because this seems pretty lame. and like a very simple job, so maybe it'll make it there, because you know it's just like mundane stuff. Anyway, kind of cool. So this is an oil pump. To circle back on what this whole thing is, the kid named Matt that I kind of watch his stuff all the time, Diesel Creek or whatever, he talks about his ADHD or whatever it is. That's probably totally what this is when I'm so random. I think that's totally what it is. Anyway, so this is the whole assembly that I built to pump oil. Keep it cheap, keep it simple, like that kind of thing. This is my suction line. This actually is a full-on swivel fitting hydraulic line that I made up. Got a little wand over there. So this is a little 2-foot section of you know, 1 1/4, and then I got a check valve on there, and then I do have an intake screen, and then I kind of weld the thing that's on the end of that thing that's booger welded pretty bad, just because that's super thin metal. That's actually the end of a shock, and I do that to keep me kind of off the bottom of the tank, because a lot of times the tanks that I'm pulling out of are just full of garbage, so I try to keep from sucking up any garbage. But anyway, so that's the wand, and this is like one of those garden carts from like Harbor Freight, right? So, and then just a couple pieces of unistrut. They go all the way through the mesh. This is kind of just booger welded onto here, and then this is probably the strongest thing about the whole cart right here. Little 1/8 inch piece of 1.5 inches, and this is kind of booger welded on too. And then that tab's welded on, which holds the front end of that pump. And then I built this little, I machined this little bracket on my lathe or whatever to attach it to this pump or this motor. And this is just one of those like Harbor Freight specials, right? I mean, 212 cc, 5 horse, something like that, right? Honestly, it works great. I've not had any issues. I don't have any complaints. I think it's done a fantastic job for 3 years for $100, and it's kept this shop right here totally warm for, you know, like the better part of I think going on 4.5, 5 years now. I think 5 years. So I guess really this pump's 5 years old. So heck yeah. All right, well, good job. You guys have an awesome day, and we will talk to you soon.